Bullhorn, Betty. Thank you for my shirt. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Kids Club.
Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
My bites in that hook in my bark, buddy. And slid down so we can see a red suitcase right here for law enforcement if they're watching and you guys would like to come back. Of her being out here. So this is what we're doing today. We will see you guys back here real soon.
I have a question for you. If you woke up this Friday morning and you looked in your bank account and there was $10,080 magically there, and you're like, wow, that's amazing. But the only stipulation is you have to spend it all in 1 week and it'll be gone. And then the following week, you'll get another $10,080 deposited, and so on and so on. You can spend it however you want. Or if you don't spend it, it disappears. Would you spend every cent every week, or would you allow it to be wasted and taken away from you? Well, guys, this Friday, you're going to wake up and there's going to be 10,080 minutes that God has given you for the next week. And you can spend them however you want, or you can simply waste them. Guys, I highly suggest that you spend every minute of next week doing amazing things, and don't allow 1 minute to be squandered, because you never know when God won't deposit another 10,080 minutes in your life, guys. Go out and live a great life.
Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Is off. They did not turn my mic back on. We need to figure out why. What is going on in Casa de Bullhorn? Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everybody that's attending here on YouTube as well as Twitter. We've got a little bit of stuff to go over. A couple cases that we're not going to see really anywhere else because they're not really cases that are getting a lot of attention at the moment, but it's still stuff that we talk about on here. And of course, we're going to continue down the road for Rex Heuermann as well as Bryan Kohberger. We've had some questions come up since the Bloom article has been released, and we're learning new things. And so we had this discussion on what the grand jury can and cannot do. After the secret grand jury is completed and the indictment is read, I have answers. We didn't have the answers yesterday. I did some work. We looked up the answers, and I'm pretty shocked at what I found. So stick around and we'll get to that. Before we start, I just want to take a few moments to say good morning to the people that are in chat. Second Thesis, good morning. The Real Me Too. I hope you are doing well. Please call me after the show today. Oh, Lady O is in the house. Bullhorn Betty is present. Our beautiful I Am Team Summer is here. Mac J, good morning. Teresa, good morning. Alabama Mom of 4 is in the house. Good morning. Good morning. Lulu's Nana is here. Struggle is real. Everybody knows that is the truth. Good morning. Who else do we have up in the house? Mustang Sally. It's nice to see you, Love Bug. I hope you're doing very, very well. It's nice to see you in the chat this morning. And I think that rounds it out to the people here so far. We've been trying to get this, our morning coffee club back on schedule every summer. It gets a little harder and harder to do because people are, around the country. The kids are out of school. And, it's hard to keep people home, right, in front of a computer during summer. So we modify our show and our showing times during the summer breaks so our morning folks don't have to be up so early in the morning to watch us or have to play the replay. So that's where we're at. We're going to be working our way back into that situation where we're here on time. Before we get started, many of you know this channel here is built by us, for us, and by the love of our Christ and Savior, God. And so one of the things that we always do on this show, typically, sometimes we miss it depending on how long our show is, but we typically try to take a few moments before we get into the gunk and the horrible parts of our society, and we just give ourselves over. So this is a codependency book that I've had for definitely over 15 years. we learned that when I started reading it on this show, but it's been quite some time. I've had this book for forever. This is the second. We're going to be going into the third year of reading this book daily. So October 12th is today. It's Thursday. It's our Friday Eve, right? It's almost Friday. And this is See It and Let It Go. This is October 12th. This is let me get my glasses on. I can't read crap.
And this is my beautiful daughter, Leila. Leila has been missing since...
Apparently, Jen wants to say something, but we'll get to Jen in just a second. So this is a reminder while you're using your imagination, embracing your dreams, and spending your time visualizing positive performance, don't forget to let go. Don't worry about how things will come to pass. Your part is seeing the best for yourself. Then return to the details of your daily life. It's safe to let go and let God. Just because we have creative powers to imagine doesn't mean we have to control the rest. Say, I see, then let it go. Let God work the manifest. God, after I seen my dreams and visualization, help me give them back to you. So there you go. There's our positive message from The Language of Letting Go. I love this book. They have multiple different editions of The Language of Letting Go. They even have a journal book, which we crack open every now and again just to give us a little bit of a difference of information. But I hope you guys have a great day. And always remember, let it go. Let go and let God. And we definitely have to rely on him a lot, especially me, right? He wraps me with his armor so I can go out there every day and do the best that I can. Before we get started on our programming, we're going to hand this over to Jennifer Santinello. This is one of her videos that we've played in the past, but I always try to keep Leila at the forefront of the conversation on this channel because this is a passion item of mine. This was a case that wasn't getting a lot of traction on it. Nobody would help this family. Olivia and I decided to team up together, go out there and see what we could do. We brought a wealth of attention to this case. It brought some negative attention as well. But you know what? I think that was a silver lining because this case really exposed the ugly hearts of many people that tried to say that they're here to help. Well, clearly they're not. They're only here to help themselves. So all these things are starting to come to the forefront for the audiences on here on true crime. And again, this family is struggling and dealing with so much, especially a lot from a PI she never hired. And just all the crap and the gunk that went along with that and being associated with that whole side of BS and drama. So all we are wanting to do is raise money for the PI to continue his work, to get her some money for the reward fund, and just to help and uplift this family. That's really our goal.
My name is Jennifer Santinello, and this is my beautiful daughter, Leila. Leila has been missing since June 27th of 2023. She was last seen at the Marble Slab Creamery in Eaststone Commons on Eastman Road in Kingsport, Tennessee. On June 24th, Leila's boyfriend messaged me and asked if I know if my daughter was in jail. I asked him these questions. I was very confused. I called all the jails. Because Leila's boyfriend was using her account to message me, Leila was able to see that. When she logged in later that night and saw that I was confused and worried, she reached out to me.
I don't know what just happened.
These are the last messages.
Sorry, guys. I don't know what just happened. That was really weird. It just froze. Huh. Give me just a second.
Following Monday, her boyfriend reached out again. I had spoken to my daughter a little over 24 hours prior, and was waiting for a phone call from her. I had imagined that they had had some type of argument that she didn't want to discuss over text because he had access to this account, as you can see.
Can you guys hear that? Is it coming in okay?
So she could explain to me what was going on. I didn't want to help him find her. I felt I was being manipulated into doing so. And quite honestly, I felt relieved because this relationship wasn't a healthy one. In the early morning hours of June 27th, Leila's father called Kingsport Police Department and reported her missing. Some of these details were actually incorrect initially because he hadn't seen her recently and didn't know that she had lost weight and changed her hair color. They had to be corrected later.
Okay, so it's tough to hear. Okay, give me just a second. Yeah, we're having some issues. It looked like it just transferred back to the audio coming out of this. Hold on, there we go. Okay, sorry, I was testing my volume. Hopefully this will get better. Let me know if this is better.
It's been 3 months since the last time
No, it's not getting better.
With my firstborn child. My heart hurts, my head hurts, and I'm here today to ask for your support, to ask you all to share and keep sharing and spread her face and spread her story as far and as wide as we can. There are still so many people just here in town that haven't heard of her, that haven't heard that she's disappeared, that don't know she's missing 3 months later. This is the first of several timeline videos I plan on releasing. I hope everyone.
So she hopes everybody will, take interest in her daughter. Again, we're doing meal plans for her. If the mods want to drop some of the stuff down, we have a GoFundMe. It's not mine. I'm not running it. I want to make sure that that is clear for everybody out there. Bullhorn Betty is not running any of these accounts. I'm literally out there just searching and bringing attention to the case. I have nothing to do with anything else. I don't talk to PIs. I only talk to law enforcement when I'm going out there to do searching. That's really it. I really don't do anything other than that. Guys, give me just a second. I'm going to have to drop this down. Something's going on with my audio and I need to be able to fix it. And I don't think I'm going to be able to fix it while I'm on here. So just give me just a second. Please stay tuned and I will be literally right back with you. All right, guys, this should hopefully fix it. I don't know if it's fixing it or not. It appears that we're good to go, but just to be on the safe side, that sounds better. So that sounded much better for me. Okay, let me go ahead and get these back up and we'll go start moving on to the next topic of discussion, which is a case. This is a man that's being searched for right now. He's from Portland, Oregon. This is a situation where a woman was murdered and found inside of her car. And now they are looking for this man that is apparently on the run. Now, Ontario, Oregon, the reason why that name sounds so very familiar to you is because that's where I had to stay whenever we were over in Idaho, in Fruitland, Idaho, for Michael Monkey Vaughn's case. Ontario, Oregon was literally the only, like compared to Fruitland, it was like a bigger city than Fruitland, but it was literally just a few minutes, like 8 minutes down the road from Fruitland, Idaho. because we were constantly over in Ontario, Oregon, and constantly over in, because there's a bridge there, and we peppered that whole entire street with flyers of Michael Monkey Vaughn that we hung up all throughout the community. And we walked over there. It was very interesting because, like, literally in the middle of this bridge on the Snake River, there it went from Idaho to Oregon. So that's where you're kind of hearing this. So this is very close to the Michael Monkey Vaughn case, at least within a few minutes of it, 20 minutes or less. So I'm going to share this with you. This is the gentleman that we really need to be looking for. They do not know what this gentleman's name is. Let me see if I can blow this up ever so slightly just to give you guys a little bit of a, can you guys see that? There you go. So how this story goes, and I'm just going to read some of it to you guys. I'm sure you guys can see this here. It was a 24-year-old woman named Daniela Perez. And they found her inside of her car on October 10th. During the investigation, now there's no information. Why is this doing that? I hate when it does that. There's no information or connection between this guy and Daniela that we know of right now. And if there is, law enforcement is not releasing that information to us. They're just saying that this man, this all happened in Portland, Oregon. This was taken in Ontario, Oregon, and this is the person of interest. They do not know who he is. If you recognize this man, or think you know this man, or think you know somebody that's familiar with him, and this person happens to be in the state of Oregon, moreover, might be in Portland or Ontario, please reach out to law enforcement. They really need your help. They believe he killed a 24-year-old woman, and that is pretty scary. These are our young children. Many of us have kids or grandkids that age. For me, I have a sister that age and one of my closest friends that age. It's very, very scary. This next case is right in my own backyard here in the state of Florida. And I think that the problem here is we're starting to hear this more and more. There is, and we've talked about this on our show, there seems to be a cultural change when it comes to our children, predominantly our female children, but our children. We're starting to see, back in the day, we heard of cases where, a male teacher may be doing something with a female student. It's been very, very rare that we were hearing of female teachers doing this to male students. And I have to be honest here, lately, we've been hearing a lot of females being involved in this. And it disgusts me. It disgusts me. Like, I'm so particular. And even though I've had a marriage that my husband was 10 years my senior, I will never do that again. I truly won't. I'm very, very particular now with age groups and stuff like that. Like, it's got to be within 3 years of my personal age. I don't want somebody 10 years older. I don't want somebody 10 years younger. I want somebody that has the same, the same type of communication and conversation, something I have something in common with. And, when I first met my husband, we had a lot in common. We were partying, we were drinking, we were doing, we were just having fun and enjoying life. Well, at some point, you grow up. You don't want to have that lifestyle anymore. Okay. He still does. He's set in his ways. That's the way he's always been. I have a different path. That was really our only commonality that we had together. So when that portion was over, it was basically, we were friends living as roommates in a home. It sucked. I will never go through that again. But what I find very disgusting is, why is this stuff infiltrating our schools so much? And it's not just our schools. We know that we live here. I live here in Florida, where Disney is. Even children, organizations designed to help children and to educate children, such as Disney World, has this disgusting underlying tone in the organization. And so now I'm going to a teacher here in my own backyard, a 25-year-old teacher that has been accused, it's a male teacher, that has been accused of messing with one of his students. This is a case of a Winter Springs social studies teacher, and he's accused of the unthinkable with one of his teenage students. This doesn't just go there. I mean, they were talking about texting, sending explicit types of text messages to the young girl. Apparently, there was more that went on here that maybe the mom doesn't even know, because the mother just happened to run across the sexually explicit messages throughout the early spring and early summer of 2023. So this is really a recent event. This wasn't something that happened a year or two ago that just came to light recently. This is something that this teacher has done. And my question is like, you know, becoming a teacher and the requirements of a teacher versus the amount of money that they make. They spend a lot more to get that. I mean, as opposed to saying spending that same amount of money and becoming, say, an attorney or a doctor or something like that, you know, they make higher net worths. But teachers, they're required to have a lot of education to become a teacher. It's very costly to become a teacher, and your salary and your benefits really aren't as good as other types of degrees that cost around the same cost, if that makes sense what I'm trying to explain. So they have to go through a lot to become a teacher in many cases. There are other things that you could kind of work around certain certificates, well, here in Florida that I'm aware of, but for the most part, you have to have certain education levels in order to teach. So this man has spent a lot of money. He's only 25 years old. It's not like he is, you know, it appears that he would have only been teaching for, you know, a handful of years because of his age. So he has went through the process of becoming a teacher. He spent all this money. I'm pretty sure his student loans probably aren't even fully paid back yet. And now he has just ruined his entire career because he had the hots for one of his students, which I think is disgusting, because when you're a teacher, you should be looking at your children that you're teaching as your own. You know? And if you wouldn't do that to your own child, why are you doing that to one of your students? So it's really hard. But here's the statement that the Seminole County Public School System submitted on behalf of these questions that are being peppered by our local media here. On Tuesday, October 10th, 2023, Seminole County Public School was notified of the allegations of misconduct involving Lucas Kreidlbaugh. I think I'm pronouncing that right. It's spelled Kreidlebaugh. So it sounds like Kreidlbaugh. As social study teachers at Winter Spring High School, he was immediately placed on administrative leave, and this incident was reported to the Florida Department of Children, Family and Children's Services, law enforcement per their operating procedures. We have been informed that Mr. Kreidlbaugh has been placed under arrest this evening. Any allegations of misconduct by our staff will be taken seriously and handled quickly. We will continue to fully cooperate and assist law enforcement as they continue their investigation. The safety of our students and staff is our highest priority, and any type of behavior that jeopardizes the safety is not tolerated in Seminole County public school systems. My problem is this is becoming an issue. Unfortunately, that's my problem. Every week I'm hearing this garbage coming out of our public school systems. And it's really starting to irritate me, you know, and it's just, you have like 100 great, amazing teachers, and you got one creep. And you know what? That one creep causes damage for the other 100 teachers that are there trying to educate our children. This guy had no business being in our school system, you know, and I keep wondering, like, how would teachers ever think that this is okay? They know that their behavior is wrong. They're taught in their education in their school that their behavior is wrong. Yet this culture that has been created attacking our children picking up our children on the side of the road, traveling them all over the world. We know because we watch Sound of Freedom that this stuff exists. Now we've got bozos that are supposed to be teaching our children, hurting them in ways that they should not be hurt by an adult. Anyways, so here is Grady Judd. I promised you guys I would bring this back to you, but I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on it because of the nature of the allegations. But what I will do is just take a few moments to put him up on the screen and put the disgusting people that committed these crimes. This is a sting. This is for our children. These are the ones that came in to our community for our children, not just the S workers, our children. These 6 were busted in a sting for our children. Go ahead and pull this up. I'm going to try to, actually, I probably have to break this down just a little bit and blow this up so you can see, because this is really what I want to show everybody. I want to blast these people's faces on my screen. Douglas Cooley, Douglas Da Silva, Ferris, I can't pronounce his name, Clissley, Jairo Muniz, Timothy Wellman, and Trevor Walker. Now, I want you to look at these faces. For a young girl, a teenage girl that likes boys her age, how disgusting is having this? How disgusting. The Ohio ring of 160 people, many were teachers and coaches. And you know what? Again, the culture of our environment is one that preys on our children. And until we, the public, fixes that problem, fixes the culture that allows this disgusting actions and acts to exist, these people to me are monsters, Mustang Sally. Absolutely monsters. And that's how I look at them. I was watching I get a lot of stuff that's sent to me by our audience members here. And one of those things was there was a gentleman that it was kind of like a mock situation where a girl sitting at a bus stop by herself, and they would wait until somebody would sit next to her because they wanted to see what the public would do in a situation like this. So it's kind of staged, but the people that are involved, other than the little girl and the man that walks up to her, are unbeknownst. So they're just trying to get real authentic reactions from people. So what they did is they set this little girl on this bench at this bus stop, and then they would wait until somebody would sit next to her, and then this old man would walk up to her and say, "Hi, honey, I'm a friend of your mommy's, and something has happened. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take you over to the park, and then we're going to get some ice cream." And so, and she's like, "Are you ready to go?" And she looked up at this man and says, "No, thank you." And then you'd hear the man sitting there talking to her and saying, "But your mommy wanted me to pick you up. There's been an accident in the family, and she just wants me to watch you until she can come get you. Let's go to the park and get some ice cream." And obviously the person sitting next to her is overhearing this conversation. So she's like, "No, thank you, sir." And so, it seemed like he was trying to get her to come and would go to reach for her arm or something. And then the person next to her is like, "Honey, do you know who this man is?" And, people would then step in to the situation. All the ones that we've seen, this was multiple people that they set up like this. There was only one that almost looked like it was that was about to get violent, and it was a Papa Bear that was like, "You ain't taking this girl. Do you understand me?" But thank God for people. Thank God for people. We need more people like that. People that are problematic people, right? You see something that doesn't smell right and you get your ass involved. Those are what we need. When we see something, we say something. We don't put a zip around our lips and lock it with a key. we get loud. We let people know that something is going on. And that's exactly what they did. So God bless the people out there that are taking care of our children, even when we can't, even when we're not physically there to be able to do that to them. So that was really it for all the filler information on this show, just to give you guys an update of what's going on out there around the world. Now we're going to go ahead and get into the topic of our conversation that we were kind of talking about yesterday. Many know that there's been a heated public, I don't want to say feud, because I think that's too harsh. It's not really a feud between Howard Blum. I keep saying Bloom. I don't know why I want to say Bloom, but Blum, Howard Blum, and the Gonzalez family. You know, there is this public issue there because it appears, the way I'm reading all of this information, how this all kind of, in my opinion, I don't have the facts of the matter. I'm not speaking, picking up the phone, calling Mr. G and saying, hey, Mr. G, what's going on over here? I'm not doing all that. I'm reading the information just like the public has been reading the information that are coming out. And I've been listening to what Steve has been saying. And I've also been, long story short, I think the issue here is that this Howard Bloom, I do believe, researched a lot of this stuff. I think the issue arises with this grand jury juror, okay? So how the situation, from my understanding, again, do your own research. This is my understanding. If people don't like it, kiss my ass, okay? This is my understanding. So on my understanding with this situation is there was, obviously we had a grand jury, a secret grand jury that indicted Bryan Kohberger. Apparently one of those grand jurors, allegedly, we don't even know if it's a true grand juror. I mean, to be honest with you, how are we going to know? We don't. But apparently somebody had approached Steve and said that they were, according to this article, according to some other information that I do have available to me. But that's basically the crux of the situation, is that somebody approached Steve and said that they were this grand juror on the grand jury that helped indict Bryan Kohberger. And it seems to me maybe this person kind of infiltrated Steve's life, potentially. I don't know if this is fact. This is a theory of mine. Infiltrated his life and started communicating with him. And I believe it was that guy that may have given Howard Blum those text messages, potentially. Again, I don't know where these text messages came, because he's saying a friend of Steve. And I don't know, most of Steve's friends, honestly, are his family. He doesn't, he has probably some acquaintances, some people that he trusts, a best friend, or, even somebody that's just a really good friend. But if you know anything about the Gonzalez family, they are family focused. Their family comes first. Family. Weekends are surrounded by family. Events are surrounded. They have a big, beautiful family that loves to be around each other, period. So where did this guy come from? Is this the guy that gave Blum the text messages? I have no idea, because I have to be honest with you. Up until that story came out, I have never heard the text messages between the surviving roommates come out like that. Like I said, the information that I had related to those text messages, I'm 100% on board that there was a text message exchange between Bethany and Dylan. Without a doubt, I believe 100% there was absolutely that text message exchange. The problem I have issue with is I don't believe, and this is what was alleged in this article and in this book, is that they were texting as he was moving from room to room. So they were literally awake, listening to their entire house being slaughtered, and they were texting back and forth. and you know, the girls are already having a hard enough time because there is an 8-hour window there. We don't know what happened there. A lot of us were in shock when we heard that at first. A lot of us had some anger issues over it, and were a little frustrated about it because we don't know, could that have helped? Could it have saved somebody's life? You know, there was a lot of a litany of concerns that the public had about that. But in light of all that, it's like, you know, they've already went through so much. Why are we adding more fuel to the fire when it comes to Bethany and Dylan? And that's the part I don't understand, because this is the first time I've ever heard that those girls are literally texting back and forth as their friends are being killed. I just don't believe it. And I think that that's what it is. Now, I did read I read part 5 only of this story. And this is the part where I think Olivia was introduced, or I was introduced in there, or something like that. And so I read that, and, you know, one of the things that I think I didn't realize about our work, and this is you know, we just do. We don't think about what we're doing. We just do. We follow the leads where they take us. We do what we think is right. We always try to be out there doing stuff. But one of the things that I have to say is I never realized even who I am in all of this, who I am, who Olivia is, and what we have accomplished over the last 2 years. I don't think I have any clue the changes that 3 people kicked the front door of YouTube and changed a lot of stuff here. I never realized to that tune. Do you know an interview with Steve Gonzalez and his family, in any other circumstances, would have went to somebody with the likes of Barbara Walters. And here you've got 2 no-name YouTubers sitting in the home of this family. We cared. I mean, I can tell you, this wasn't a story for us. It was a lot more. But I don't think until, even though I don't agree with, you know, a lot of the article, I think it was sensationalized, which it's got to sell. I mean, there's going to be sensationalization in books that sell, even documentaries. They have to have something that's interesting, that will entertain their audience and sell. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it is the ugly truth. It's the name of the game. But I don't think I realized what we accomplished. Olivia and I were standing in a house because we cared, with people giving an interview that people have worked their entire life to have an opportunity to have. I don't think I have ever understood that impact until I read that in that article, because I never thought of it like that. I never thought that, oh my God, we're leading a change. We're doing something that's never been done before. I had no clue. None. I didn't even think of it like that. So the silver lining is, and I know people, the haters, going to say, oh, you always got to make it about you. No, I'm proud of myself. And you know what? I guarantee if your child just scored a touchdown, I guarantee you're out there bragging about it. Guarantee that. So I thought it was very interesting. But again, it comes back to that gentleman. Where did he come from? And was he on a grand jury? And who is he? And I hope Steve G steps up to the plate, especially if it was that man that violated his trust. Because we're learning that a grand jury, I want to read all this stuff to you because I had these questions yesterday. I did. And I wanted to make sure that I did some research and that we were all up to date with this secret grand jury and how this indictment stuff works. And here's what I learned just on a cursory review with Google. But it didn't answer my question, and we're going to keep looking through it. So the grand jury proceedings are private and secret. We knew that. There's no dispute about that. Prospective defendants are not entitled to be present at the proceedings. We knew that. And no one is allowed to cross-examine witnesses on the defense's or the defendant's behalf. We knew that. The information presented in a grand jury is presented by prosecuting attorneys only. We knew that because the kicker was, the kicker was with related to this is that they wanted to have that preliminary hearing because the preliminary hearing allows the defense attorney to argue back and forth about the, even though they don't want it to say it's like a mini trial. And I know a lot of legal professionals caution using that it's like a mini trial from people, but that's the only way you can really describe it to a lay person. It's like a mini trial on a preliminary hearing. This secret grand jury is a way around that preliminary hearing in order to get the indictment without the whole back and forth between all the parties. So this is the grand jury indictment route is the one that, in my opinion, is less convoluted. Okay, you go in there, you present your case to the jurors, they deliberate, they come back to find out whether you have enough probable cause for the indictment, and that's how they vote. But in this particular situation with Steve Gonsalves and Bryan Kohberger, we're hearing that this juror that was on this secret grand jury that was presented all this private information. Remember, the family's not allowed to be there. The defendant's not allowed to be there. The only people there is basically this grand jury and the prosecuting attorney, and they're presenting the case to the grand jury for indictment. Nobody's there. So who would know that this guy was on that grand jury? Nobody. The only way he could produce anything is the grand jury summons. That would be it. And it still doesn't guarantee that he was actually the one that deliberated on this case. So what are the rules when it comes to grand jury information? Actually, I think I want this one. This is the one I want the most, right here. This guy should be, if he truly was on this grand jury, guys, this guy should be prosecuted. This guy should be absolutely 100% prosecuted. Whoever leaked that information to Howard Bloom, because right here, this is the rules for Idaho. And as you see here on Section C, secrecy of proceedings and disclosure. This is written into their law in Idaho. It's written into all of our laws somewhere, somehow. And it says every member of the grand jury must keep secret. You hear that? Must keep secret whatever was said or done in the grand jury proceedings and the vote of each grand juror on a matter before them. But a grand jury may be required by the district judge to disclose matters occurring before the grand jury which may constitute grounds for dismissal of an indictment, or grounds for a challenge to a juror, or an array of jurors. No other person present in a grand jury proceeding may disclose any other person what was said or done in the proceeding, except by order of the court for good cause shown. And we know that what is good cause shown? Remember when Nancy Taylor went to the judge and said, look, we need the transcript from this, the grand jury. There was a back and forth. She did the half stay, which she stayed just the speedy trial deadline. And then she tried to have another bite at the apple with the second motion to stay, which was recently denied. Nobody is allowed to have this information without court order. Nancy Taylor went about it the right way to get what she needed out of this because she was able to go to the judge and say, I need the transcript, and they were to provide her the transcript. So if every single juror is gagged by law from that grand jury, what this man did, if he truly was. Now, I'm still on the fence. Is this man a juror or not? Because I would think jurors in a case like this would never do a freaking thing to jeopardize. But how do we know that this isn't a plant? How do we know that this isn't somebody that was trying to infiltrate Steve's life in order to make a buck, and Howard Bloom was just the vessel that this guy used? We don't know. We need to step back and realize what's going on. I personally don't know. In all practicality, I have no idea who this guy is, how he got this information, how he was able to speak to Steve Gonsalves, what he provided to Howard Bloom. But I can tell you what I do know is if he truly was on that jury, he just violated the law. That juror just violated the law. And as far as I'm concerned, I pray to God he was not one that voted to indict Bryan Kohberger, because I think he's a piece of garbage that doesn't know how to follow the law when it's the most important time to follow the damn law. As you guys can tell, I'm not really, I'm a law and order person. You know, a judge tells you something, you are on it. We, the public, trust our process. Okay? We, the public, rely on the process. So when we have a secret grand jury, whether we like it or not, trust me, I want to know what happened in that grand jury, just like everybody else. I want to know all the details. And if I have an opportunity to even look under the hood, I'm going to. It's just the nature of who I am. But I can promise you, I will never, ever, ever tell anybody to violate the law. Ever. And quite frankly, I frown upon it because this kind of crap right here causes problems in a case like Bryan Kohberger's, where we don't have room to have these types of problems. Is this something that the defense can eventually use to get this indictment reversed? Probably not, but you never know. Let's be honest. You never know. You don't know how this is going to affect this case. All I know is he was trusted to be a grand jury on a secret grand jury. And if he's not lying to everybody involved, he violated the law, and shame on him for doing that. Sorry, shame on him for doing that. And not only that, but to be putting two girls that have already been through hell. Now, everybody knows my stance on it. I have nothing bad. I don't wish anything bad on Dylan Mortensen or Bethany Funk. I pray to God that they are able to have some type of normal life when all of this is over. I feel bad for them. I truly feel bad for them. I feel bad that they were put in a situation. I feel bad with the 911 call. I feel bad for all of it. But you know what? It's bad enough as is with just the truth and the facts. We don't need to be adding additional stuff that's just designed to hurt them, because it's not necessary. They, I'm sure, are going to beat themselves up for the rest of their life over a mistake that they made. And the only mistake that they made, as far as I'm concerned, is being naive and not picking up the phone and calling 911 when I know that in their gut, it was screaming for them to call 911. I know that in their gut, it should have been called a lot sooner. But we can't go back and change the hands of time. They've already been clubbed over the head for those issues. Why are we going to take gasoline and light a match on them? I just don't see any good purpose for that. I feel bad for them. I felt bad for them for the beginning. Trust me, just because I talk about stuff on my show and I have to talk about it one way or another, it's because we have to look at all avenues. It doesn't mean that it doesn't bother me having to talk about it. I look at these kids like my little sisters. It's hard. I can't imagine what would happen if it was my little sister. You know, I really can't. So now we're going to move over to the Long Island serial killer. We're almost through. I've got I got about 4 or 5 more tabs at the top. I may go through them all. I may not. I've also have another show already set up in the percolator to talk about some other cases that I can't get to this morning. And I'm probably going to work most of the day today on other obligations, but I actually think, because I've already got the show set up, that I may come back later this afternoon for that later afternoon show. So don't forget to subscribe, put your notifications to all so you don't miss that. That particular, let me just tell you what we'll be discussing on that case, or on that particular thing. We're going to be doing an update on the NFL player and her mother. We're going to be doing an update on Gabby Petito. We're going to be giving an update on the girl that Charlotte Senna, that was kidnapped in New York. And we're going to give you guys an update on, oh, hey, Justice for All. Love you, honey. And we're also going to give you guys an update on Cody Bigsby. Again, these are cases that we haven't covered. These are cases that need updates on them for my audience. You guys were heavy on the topics, on some of these topics anyway, from the beginning. And we're just going to provide you guys with some updates. So again, that's going to be later this afternoon. If for whatever reason I can't, that's going to be pretty much what we're going to be doing tomorrow. But I have a funny feeling I'm going to run that live later today. So just be on the lookout for that. Now going on to Rex Heuermann and the issues that are going on, I'm just going to turn this over to Court TV because this is the issue with the guns. If we remember, I was a little, I don't know what you want to call it, a little disturbed about the fact that, we've got dead girls and his family is concerned about turning over the guns. I understand that they want to sell them. They want to sell it for money and stuff like that, but that's not my concern, right? And I just thought it's in poor taste. We've got 4 dead people, and again, you guys know my stance. I believe Rex, just let me put this out there so people don't think I'm beating up on Rex's wife and children. I believe they're his victims too. I just want to make sure that that's stated up front, that I do not support the condemnation of serial killer family, because they are as much in the dark as the rest of us, and it's not fair to condemn them for something they had no knowledge of. So I just want to put that out there. But again, still, I'm a person that believes there's a right way to do things and a wrong way to do things. And I also believe there's a time and a place, right? And I don't think this is the time or the place. And so weeks ago, we ran about how, is it Asa? I think it's Asa. How Asa wanted the guns back, so she could sell them. She wants all those guns returned to her. They had some type 200, 300 guns. It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. And New York is a stickler for gun laws. So he's got a lot of unregistered guns. I want to say over 40, I believe is what this article states. But they're wanting the guns back, and the state is now, it looks like they're going to hijack his guns. I don't know how you guys feel, but I don't agree with that either. But here, I just want you guys to hear what's going on.
Police are now saying the dozens of firearms seized from Heuermann's home appear to have been illegally purchased. Heuermann.
That is correct. They were, like I said, I do believe that there's some, I think it's more than 40. I think that's just a round number. But look how sneaky the state's going to be about this. Stay tuned.
We know was arrested back in July. Right now, he's accused of 3 murders. At that time, officials seized almost 300 firearms, everything from handguns to assault rifles, antique guns, all from that home on Long Island. And Heuermann's attorneys have asked the court to return the firearms so that they can be sold. In a new filing, prosecutors say that Heuermann didn't have a permit for at least 40 of those firearms and 10 high-capacity magazines, and any gun permits in his name have been rescinded.
So what do you guys think about that? I get it that, but he was in compliance up until this point. Now, granted, if you want to take those 40 that weren't properly registered, but if he purchased those guns with proper funds, it doesn't matter. Those belong to him. You can't, to me, and they're like, oh, well, we canceled the registration. It doesn't matter. They were properly registered and purchased properly and above board and in accordance with New York law for at least 250 of those guns. I think now, granted, this has nothing to do about my feelings about Rex. Like I want him to be, I want the screws put to him and, just make him as uncomfortable for the rest of his life as possible if the allegations are true. I want to make sure that I want to throw that out there. I have not gone out there. I haven't looked into this case other than what we read online. So I don't have my own personal opinion. So I'm not going to sit there and say that he's absolutely guilty, but I have to think that they did a lot of work prior to his arrest, and with the investigative genetic genealogy testing, we know that had a hand in this case as well as Bryan Kohberger's case. The guns, I believe there's a right way to do things and there's a wrong way to do things, and I think both people in this situation are wrong. I think the state should be required to hand over all the guns that were properly registered. up to the point of when Rex Heuermann was arrested. And I believe all the unregistered vehicle or guns should be confiscated because they were done unlawfully. And that is the crux of it. The ones that were unlawful, they should have to dispose of. The ones that were proper, they should have to give back. I'm sorry. But unless you can say this man is dealing drugs and he purchased those with stolen money or drug money or blood money, which none of those allegations exist in this case, they need to give those guns back. That's how I feel about it. And I know that's maybe not a popular viewpoint, and maybe some of the legal professionals out there may disagree, but I'm sorry. You have to have just cause for doing something, and whether you cancel those registrations or not, it doesn't matter. They were properly registered at the time you acquired those guns, and that's the point that I'm making. So how do you feel about it? Because I think of it like this. What if he's not guilty? Right? They haven't presented this case to the court yet. So what if he isn't guilty? What if they just have the wrong guy? What if it's the neighbor? I don't believe it, but I mean, let's just hypothetically, what if it's the neighbor? They got the wrong guy. The pizza box was from the neighbor. The neighbor's in Rex's house. You're going to see his DNA all over because they're BFFs. He set Rex up. Whatever. Then his guns were proper. He got railroaded. He was the scapegoat, and he lost his guns improperly. They have to have just cause to take those guns. I'm sorry, but whether they cancel those registrations or the guns or not, that is semantics, and that is a government decision. That they didn't have the authority. They may have had the authority. I understand the right to bear arms is a constitutional right. So I believe the laws in New York are in violation of our Constitution wholeheartedly. But it's not my state. I have no control over it. We have to work within their guidelines. But were the guns properly registered at the time law enforcement took them? That's the only thing I care about. The other stuff needs to be worked out in court. If he's guilty, he's guilty. So this just kind of goes on a little bit more, and it has another video on it. So I'm just going to bring this up so you guys can watch this. You're going to have a little, I didn't have this set up like I had the other one. So you're most likely going to have a advertisement before it gets started. So just bear with me. It'll be over just shortly. Realtor.com. Let me see if I can get this volume. So there's no volume on this. It's just, it looks like it's just drone footage, but that's fine. It's about 1 minute and 30 seconds of what they're moving. Look at that. They're moving entire decking to look up under it. Wow, I didn't know that. I guess standing it up wasn't going to work, so they decided they have to bring it down and cut it in half. So they did a lot. They did a lot. And his yard, as you can see, is of disarray. But they went through everything with a fine-tooth comb. They sure did. So what else do we have here? Oh, okay. So now that does it for our Rex Heuermann coverage. It's just about the guns. What are your thoughts about it? So we went over Bryan Kohberger, the Howard Blum article. You know, we went over the grand jury. How do you feel about this potential grand jury member breaching his oath of the grand jury? And that's what it is. He breached his oath of the grand jury. They searched the place high and low, as they should have. I think they did an amazing job with that search. I mean, they took a lot of stuff out. I'm interested in finding out what actually happened. Okay, we're having a new alert coming in here. We may have to switch gears while we're live here. We have a new alert. 2 missing boys, 5 and 8, Somerset, Pennsylvania, last seen with dad and his girlfriend's silver Jeep. Okay, let's look at here. So we got 2 boys missing. Somerset, Pennsylvania. see what we got. Police are investigating, and then we'll get over to, if we have time, I may have to cut it here, and we may have to put Alec Murdaugh on the afternoon live, because the Murdaugh stuff is the only other stuff that I have to go over at the moment. Okay, here we go, guys. Here is a new missing children. They're children. There's multiple children that are missing right now. We're going to go ahead and read this. Here they are. Let me go ahead and put their faces up, if they will. Let's see if I can get this to get bigger for you guys. There are the faces of the two boys, apparently Somerset, Pennsylvania. I haven't read the article yet, but just from the statements that we just received by Mermaid, is that these two young boys are in Somerset, Pennsylvania. They were in the care of their father and his girlfriend and were never returned back to their mother. That is the information, the preliminary information we have on these two young boys. Let me see if I can get, there we go. There's one of them. There's the other. Take a look at their face. 1, 2. Okay. That's who we're looking for right now, 2 boys. They are with their father, so hopefully they're not in any type of immediate danger. This sounds like a custody interference thing, which could be dangerous. I don't want to ever downplay a parental abduction either. Okay, I don't want to do that. But, you know, the degree is a lot less because it's more of a back and forth between the parents. In many cases, that's not in all cases. These kids could very much be in physical harm. And so because of those possibilities, we need to make this all hands on deck. If anybody sees these boys, you are asked to please call 911 from your location. Let's just go ahead and read this article so everybody's apprised of what's going on in this particular matter. And then we'll move forward if we have some time. So it says, update. Conemaugh Township Chief Police Vince Zangaglia tells 6 News the boys have been found safe in Nevada. That's what the update just came in for these 2 boys. The boys have been found safe in Nevada and are in police custody. So no further details. So we don't even need it. But if you guys want the backstory on it, authorities in Conemaugh Township Police Department. So guys, cancel that alert. The boys have been found safe. I just got the update when we pulled this up that they have been found safe all the way in Nevada, across country. Wow. Authorities with Conemaugh Township Police Department in Somerset County are investigating the alleged disappearance of 2 local boys. According to the news release, the boys, 8-year-old Trevor and 5-year-old Waylon, were reportedly picked up by their father, Warren Willis, on October 4th. Investigators say the boys were returned to their mother on October 8th, but never showed, or were to be returned, but never showed. Police said Warren Willis is believed to be traveling with his girlfriend, Ariana Stormer, in a silver Jeep Renegade with a license plate. Authorities say the couple is believed to be traveling with the 9-month-old female child. So it sounds like the boyfriend and girlfriend has a baby of their own. Police noted that the emergency custody order has been granted to the boy's mother. Officials say Trevor Willis is described as a white male, approximately 5 feet tall, 164 pounds, blue hair, blue eyes, and brown hair. Sorry about that. So again, boys have been found. Thank you for all the people that keep us up to date. Not all cases in this quickly, but wow, all the way to Nevada. They were going on the run with these kids. It sounds like she just had a baby. They wanted to have their family. Mom was keeping kids away, and she probably has just cause. When courts are involved and they choose to remove custody, they typically have a good reason for doing so. So we're glad these 2 boys are safe. They're going to be reunited with their mother. I doubt today, because they're all the way in Nevada, and obviously she's in Pennsylvania. But wow. Court orders are just that, folks. You guys got to remember, it's just a piece of paper. It has a legal consequence to it, but it does not stop anybody from taking your child. And court orders are just that. They're a piece of paper. And if people don't mind breaking the law, that piece of paper means absolutely nothing to them. Because let's face it, the people that follow the rules are the law-abiding citizens. Criminals are criminals because they won't follow the law. That's why they're criminals. That's exactly what the definition of a criminal is, right? So with Alec Murdaugh, we talked about this and hinted on this, and then I'm going to open up the phone lines and leave the rest of this to you about this. Hey, Justin, if you want to call in, please do, and give us an update on Summer Wells. I have not been monitoring it, and I actually would like to get with you because I have some ideas, and I think the ideas are going to help move this case into TBI's hands. And I'd like to talk to you about it, and possibly not here. I mean, you can call me here for this stuff here, but for Summer Wells, I really would like to talk to you and start working, you and ICU, and start working on some strategy with that. That has got to get out of Hawkins County. They're too broke to handle this case. They can't do it. They just can't. They don't have the resources. Alec Murdaugh. Oh, let me go ahead and I'll just let you guys listen to this. This one's good. This one's good.
An accounting of his assets under state control. The loss is $1 million plus. Hours after lawyers for Alex Murdaugh filed a request on Monday for an immediate federal seizure and an accounting of his assets under state control, the lawyers with custody of those assets replied with a request of their own. Shortly after 8 p.m. Monday, the office of John T. Lay, one of the two receivers who has had control over Murdaugh funds since November 2021, sent an email subpoena to Murdaugh lawyer Jim Griffin seeking various kinds of financial information, including any engagement letters or contracts between Griffin and or Paul Murdaugh and or Alex Murdaugh. Any documents showing payments received by Griffin from any source related to your representation of Paul Murdaugh and or Alex Murdaugh. Any and all contracts and or agreements related to or in any way associated with Alex Murdaugh, Maggie Murdaugh, or Paul Murdaugh, including but not limited to media rights deals, entered into by you and or Alex Murdaugh and or Buster Murdaugh providing for payments of any kind.
So they're talking about media right deals and all these other different things that they have to take into consideration. But that's not the crux of why they're trying to move this money over to the feds. Apparently, well, I have a problem. I mean, they're receiverships, but it's the state. It's the same state that's coming after Alec Murdaugh, financially and everything else. He does have significant assets even after being almost bankrupt, right? Like bankrupt for a rich person is much different than bankrupt for, say, one of us, right? When we're bankrupt, we truly do not have two nickels to rub together. When the elite are bankrupt, they still have a couple $1 million here, there, and everywhere else. I mean, that's just the name of the game. They're not going without food. They're not going without water. They're not going without shelter. A much different type of bankruptcy from a rich person to a poor person. But it's not that. It's because the accounting fees, what they're charging the account, the state's basically stealing money through fees. And so the federal government is willing to, or would be willing to do this, and the federal government doesn't charge those ridiculous fees to manage that money like the states do. So they're trying to do this as an asset preservation type of avenue, because if he stays with the states, they're going to nickel and dime that account to nothing. If it goes over to the federal government, then he'll at least have some way of maintaining the majority of whatever he has left. We knew that. That man's been morally bankrupt since the day he was birthed. So, I mean, he was just a bad apple that was able to manipulate and I don't think he was able to manipulate his family. I really don't. I think his family knew that all this stuff was going on. I think they turned their head. They're of a higher caliber, a different breed of people. And so they keep everything, because they're in the public eye, they keep everything hush hush. They keep things shoveled under a rug. They don't let the public know that there's problems. In the public eye, everything appears to be perfect. And it's hard. It's hard. Nurse Sandy, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, November Rain. TL, it's nice to see you guys. So that's really it on Murdaugh. Let me see if there's any other thing. I really haven't heard a whole lot about, there is one here about Kinsey. Remember him? He was the reconstructive the reconstruction guy that kind of reconstructed what could have happened that morning. He was the one that was for the state. He actually went to a crime con. Really, he seems like a really nice guy. He's opened now his own forensic type of business that really talks about, setting up these types of reenactments or reconstruction of these crime scenes. So really knowledgeable guy. I have to be honest, when I seen Ken Kinsey on the stand, I thought he was very knowledgeable. And you always find when you have somebody that's knowledgeable about something and is kind of like an expert, they're very calm on the stand. You notice that? Like you'll see somebody that's not as confident on the stand and like say they're cross-examined, they'll get flustered, or you'll start hearing that elevation in their voice, or something. You can hear the excitement coming from that expert witness or something, because it's just a natural reaction for your body when you're under a certain level of stress. But what I liked about Ken Kinsey is that you could really tell how professional he was, how knowledgeable he was. He was able to really, really be soft-spoken. He was able to detail things in such a way that it made sense to the normal person, to people that do not have this type of education and can't put this type of stuff together. He was able to break it down. He was almost like the teacher on the stand for me, explaining all this stuff and why it came there, why it came about the way it did. Because if you remember, the expert witness for Alec Murdaugh sucked, right? And he said a lot of stuff about heights and positions and two shooters and, trying to help defend Alec Murdaugh. But Ken Kinsey was able to get up there and just so eloquently discuss the differences and why that other guy's designs or reconstructions didn't match his. And when he even debunked the other guys, he made it make sense. Really smart guy, just super, super sweet and nice. But he goes on to say and says it was a shocking crime that started it all. Maggie, 52, Paul were fatally shot by the dog kennels on their property on June 7th. During the sensational 6-week trial that began January of 2023 and lasted for 6 weeks, jurors were shown a slew of evidence, including cell phone video featuring the voice of Alec Murdaugh taken near the kennels. Dr. Ken Kinsey, a crime scene reconstruction expert who testified during the Murdaugh trial, talked to People. This is where this article is coming, People magazine. Oh, thank you, Julie. God bless you. Thank you so much for being a member for 8 months. Wow. Birthday's coming up. We got to start remembering to celebrate everybody's Bullhorn Betty birthday. So they talked to People about what made him believe Murdaugh was guilty and dismissed the defense's theory. Defense's theory that there were 2 shooters who killed Maggie and Paul. Kinsey said the crime scene was too messy for 2 shooters to have been involved. So there was too much shuffling around. Remember that all the stuff around those kennels was, dirt road type of stuff. It wasn't like grass. I mean, there was grass on the outskirts of the buildings and stuff like that, but right there, really, you could see the walking paths. It was dirty. It was you could see shuffling, right? Everything is like a country place. You got some areas that have grass in it and some areas that are just dirt. The defense did everything to try to get away from Alex being the shooter. He tells People, I teach pistols. I teach shotguns. I hunt. Knowing firearms the way I do, and working as many death scenes involving firearms as I have, it's just too messy. I've worked a lot of hits, a lot. They just don't do it that way. So thank you. Oh my gosh, they gave us, we can now see our memberships. Look at that. Thank you, StreamYard. StreamYard, for the first time, this is the first time we have seen a gifted Bullhorn Betty memberships being able to be broadcasted and shown on the screen. Thank you, StreamYard. Thank you, Julie. God bless you. Thank you don't forget to say thank you to Julie if you received one of those beautiful memberships from her. So he's making sense. And this is some of the stuff that he was explaining in that, in the trial, is about how disturbed the scene was. This was, I don't think people understand to the level of planning Alec did to take out his wife and his son. He had those guns hidden next to that feed shed. Like, you have a whole line of kennels, and then you have the building that Paul was, that's the feed room. So he was shot standing right there. On the other side is where I believe Alec hid those guns for his use. I don't think people understand. Alec planned this. This wasn't a spur of the moment, he's got to get done. He planned this. And I think that's what was missing from a lot of people's minds, and why he was guilty, is because this was something a lot different than what many were believed to have been. All right, guys, that's the end of the show. That was everything. We talked about Bryan Kohberger, Rex Heuermann, and even some Alex Murdaugh. So if you guys have any type of questions, you guys just want to say hi to the audience, please consider calling in. The phones are open for those that are visually impaired, 724-249-6140. Don't forget, we have a lot of people in here that bring the word of God. We've got Countryside Community Church. We have our very own Turkey Man. He has his channel, T-Carp, and I can't remember the full name. We'll have to get, if my mods have his link, throw that into the chat. And then we also have our beautiful soul, Ricky Beavers, which has been so busy, but he does come over here every now and again to pop in to say hi to everyone. So we were blessed with his presence, I believe yesterday, maybe it was the day before yesterday, I can't remember. But if you have any questions or want to make any statements, please consider calling into the show. And I'm pretty sure my mom, the reason why you guys haven't heard from Mama Bullhorn is because she's been sleeping in. So we need to start, maybe we need to buy Mama Bullhorn an alarm clock. My stepdad's probably watching as we're live, calling my mom. Night, Sally. You take care, honey. Good morning, Gigi for life. Oh, there it is. So if you guys would like to go, we always like to support those that support us. And Turkey Man is a beautiful soul. He's the one that always, catches us up, prays over us. And I just really, really value his friendship. So if you guys can, go over there and get the word of Christ. And he does a lot of turkey hunting stuff too, guys. And Thanksgiving is coming right around the corner. Mama Bullhorn catching up on her rest. I know. Mama Bullhorn's becoming lazy in her retirement age. I don't know where she thinks she's going to be able to do that. I don't know. I'm just joking, Mom. I'm just joking. What else do we have? Thank you all. Don't forget to thank Julie. Guys, this is the end of the show. So the phones aren't ringing. So we'll see you guys later this afternoon. Again, this afternoon's show will be, just for everybody to know, we're going to be going over the NFL player that killed his mom, Gabby Petito, Charlotte Senna, and Cody Bigsby. We're going to be updating ourselves on those cases when I return this afternoon. And again, if we don't go live this afternoon, because I still got a lot of a mess of paperwork, as you can see all over my desk, that I'm working on right now. So if I get caught up in that and can't come live, we will do that live first thing in the morning and push tomorrow morning's live to the afternoon so I can force myself to do it. But other than that, guys, you guys go make it a great day, and we'll be back when it's TGIF, or hopefully later today. We'll see. Take care. God bless. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be safe and kind to one another, especially in the comment box below. God bless.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.